there, Simon from simonwoods.com, back with Pinots Part 2, or at least a March Pinots Part 2, for the benefit of the Saddleworth Wine Society. So if you're watching, this is what I do for you guys. Righty-ho, we've got, first one I did was 6 wines, three Australians, 3 New Zealanders. This time I've got 2 Chileans and 2 French. So first, I'll do the Chileans first. Viña Punto Alto El Chaparro Pinot Noir from Casablanca. This is the La Roche operation down in Chile. Well, it's got for me a classic Chilean smell. It's a smell I associate more perhaps with Cabernet Sauvignon and Carmenere, but it's got this fruit pastels, and whereas in the Cabernet Sauvignon it's more on the blackcurrant pastels, here it's more on the raspberry pastels, but it's got that ever so slightly confected fruit character. What is good about it though is it feels like sometimes you get that character and you also get sort of like some reduction in there. Reduction is basically when a wine almost closes in on itself. You want to bring it out of itself, but there are some wines that just closed in so much that they're never going to come out. This one feels like it's got a little bit of that that touch, but it feels like it's going to blossom. Let's see whether it does when I taste it. Cherries, plums, maybe something like a touch of mint. If you watch the ones where I did the Australians, there was a touch of mint in some of those, but here it feels like it's more in proportion with the wine. And there's this earthy, maybe like licorice character that feels to me like a rooty warmth, if that makes sense. Nice, not great, and certainly for me it misses out on some of that Pinot Noir sexiness. It feels correct. It doesn't feel like it's something I want to swoon over, which for me is almost like a test with Pinot Noir. You use words like wow and yummy, and that for me, if you're using things like correct, it's maybe misses out on the it factor. Let's see whether the next one has got it. Oda Veranda from the Bodegas Viñedos y Bodegas Corpora. They've got a few labels, but this is Veranda, made in conjunction with it's actually Canadian, a guy called Pascal Marchand. He made his name in Burgundy at a domain called, golly, what's it called? They do Clos des Epineux. I've got a case of it downstairs, and I was married in 1993. Domaine Contarmont, that's the one. And then he was one of the founding winemakers at Domaine de la Vougerie when the Boisset Empire got together and did some wine, pulled all the various bits of vineyard that they'd acquired when they bought loads of other négociants and wine companies in Burgundy. He's been working in Chile for quite a while, first with Boisset and now with these guys. So let's see how we get on. It's weird, there's almost something peaty, like a malt whiskey type of character in here. If someone had said that they'd dropped a little bit of whiskey in here, I'd have believed them. I think it's something to do with the wood. It's almost like something in the wine has reacted with the wood, brought this warm, woody character out. It's not sort of like a toasty sawdust character. Behind it there is quite nice red fruit, but it feels like it feels a bit odd. Well, I'm really not quite sure what to make of that. It seems to be dominated by this rich, earthy woodiness, and I'm not sure if the fruit's going to ever get past there. You can taste the winemaking, but maybe not enough of the grapes in the first place. Maybe I'd like to see them use a little less new oak and just let the wine shine. I mean, the region here, Bio-Bio, it's one of the coolest. Well, there's different bits of Bio-Bio, but in general, cool bits of Chile, and I think that they've ever so slightly swamped the fruit with the winemaking. But hey, so let's see what the 2 Frenchies are like. They're not from the same region. This one is, it's one of those with a stupid hello, look at me, I'm enormous bottle. Domaine de l'Aigle. Which means the Eagle Domain Pinot Noir 2009 from Gérard Bertrand. So I think this is Limoux, but it doesn't say it on the label. I can't see it on the back label because there's a large sticker saying who sent it to me on the back label. Hey. Well, it smells like the wine's not going to quite live up to its heavy bottle. It feels on the light, ever so slightly medicinal side. The shame is if they'd not put Pinot Noir on the label and they just put sort of like a Vin de Pédoc or Pédoc IGP or whatever they're going to label things now, I'd probably have been expecting less from it and been as a result more pleased with it. But yes, there's this sappy red fruit. There's a dusky warmth to it. It doesn't feel like it's going to be all that complex, but hey. Yes, if someone had said to me there's almost like some Grenache in there to give it warmth and dusty heat, I would have believed them. Feels like a solid, juicy wine, but as Pinot Noir, I miss some of that allure, some of that fragrance. It's a nice wine. Certainly wouldn't object to it, but if you're expecting some of that it factor with Pinot Noir, it's not quite in there. But at that price, can't complain too much. Let's see whether we can complain about the last one. I've had this. I've been going through a case of this stuff, and it's been a wine that's needed time to come out of its shell. It's Domaine Jean Chauvenet's Nuit Saint-Georges Premier Cru Les Vaucrins, 2001 vintage, which was a not a great vintage, but not a bad vintage. Actually, no one has bad vintages these days. In terms of the how it fits into the Burgundy firmament, it was considered a pretty good vintage, but not a stellar vintage. But it's got to that interesting Pinot Noir state. It's got a warm, wild, truffly character. It's lost when it was younger, it had sturdiness, it had quite bold, firm fruit. Nuit Saint-Georges is probably the sturdiest commune for wines in the northern bit of the Côte d'Or, so what they call the Côte de Nuit. And it's not. There aren't any Grand Cru vineyards there. There are a few vineyards which some people say should be Grand Cru. Les Saint-Georges is one of them. Les Vaucrins isn't one of them. It's one of the decent Premier Cru, but here what you're starting to get through is some of that more of that what I call life beyond fruit. So there is the plummy juiciness, there is the bright berry, there is a bit of the bramble, but you're starting to get this truffly undergrowth character coming through. It's starting to starting to shed its inhibitions and reveal some of its inner character, and it smells good, in other words. Well, I don't think it's going to be one of those Burgundies that lives to its 30th or 40th birthday, but it's really nice today. There's a juiciness about it. There's this mixture of it just feels casual and it feels confident, and it's almost like Chateauneuf du Pape without the steroids. It's got the warm allure, but it's not gone to that it's not too wobbly. There's not too much of it flowing over the back of its belt. It's not wine with builder's bum crack. It's got finesse, it's got poise, it's got it factor. It's the wine that I really wish I wasn't taking along to the Saddleworth wine lot tonight, because I want more of it for myself. But luckily I've got a few bottles downstairs, so I might dig into another of those this weekend. See you soon.